Divorce is one of the most stressful things you can go to. And, it doesn't necessarily have to be, even though it's going to be, right? So what we want to do today is mitigate some of that for you. So give you some tools and skills. Because the reality is, if the average productivity that is lost for people is 50% while they're going through divorce, 50% productivity lost. Now, if you're in a C-suite position or an owner of a company, entrepreneur yourself, you understand 50% loss of production on your part is freaking crippling. It will absolutely cripple you, your business, your income, and your profitability. And so what I want to do is give you some tips on how to get over that. So real quickly, let me introduce to you. I'm Brenda Lee, and I am a divorce coach expert, and I executive coach, and also team leadership development. And oftentimes people ask how I've gone from divorce to team leadership. Well, the reality is anybody operating at their peak potential is all the same. It doesn't matter if it's a catalyst from divorce or if you're trying to elevate a team to its best potential. It's all the same. And so we're going to give you the tools today that we use at Modig Leadership and with my divorce clients to get you up and over that so you can be more productive and have a more efficient experience as you go through your divorce or even major just life transition, okay? So number one is make a list. When you have things rattling around in your head, it can get really overwhelming and you just get bogged down by this swirling and this energy that's spent on, oh my God, did I forget this? Did I forget that? What should I do about this? And next thing you know is like you're spinning in your head, wasting all this energy instead of actually getting things done. Okay, so get everything down. I call it a brain dump. Everything you're thinking of, get it down on paper. Make a list. And then once you're done with that list, what you can do is you can prioritize. I always say to people, as high achievers, we're high achievers. We want to get a lot accomplished, right? And so we think we can get 28 things done in a day. In reality, we're probably only going to get 3 to 8 things done on any given day, right? So what I want you to do, once you make that brain dump, you make that list, and it depends on your personality. What I do is I roll out a piece of paper on my 10-foot long dining room table, and it's the kids' art paper from IKEA, roll it out, take all my Sharpies, and I literally brain dump. This is how I do projects. This is how I deal with clients. This is how I problem solve team leadership issues. This is how I operate on everything. So for me, it works. So if this is something that works for you, great, do it. If not, make a list, make sticky notes, whatever works for you, do it, right? Just get it done, get it out of your head and on paper somewhere in black and white. And you want to write it. Typing and doing all that kind of stuff, it doesn't have the same association with your brain. I've talked about it before. We're not going to go into it today, the science behind it, but it's much better for you to literally write out. There's a correlation with your memory, and your emotions are tied much more deeply when you write it out by hand on paper, okay? Once you've got it written out on paper, then you can prioritize. Take your top 3 for the day. Get those top 3 things done. Make sure that they're non-negotiables, right? You want to pick the hot seat items. And generally, they're the things you don't want to do, right? Those things that you really don't want to do are the things that you should be doing first and foremost, okay? So make that priority, get those 3 things done, and then celebrate your success in getting that done. It's okay to celebrate you. We live in a culture where people have a hard time celebrating our own self. We're more than happy to cheer on everyone else in our life. We're more than happy to encourage everyone else, and we never do it for ourselves. And the bottom line is nobody speaks to you the way that you speak to you. Nobody speaks to you as much as you speak to you. Okay. So we say things to ourselves that we would never say out loud to somebody else on the planet. Some ugly, nasty, gnarly things, right? We also talk to ourselves more than we do anybody else on the planet either, right? So you get to decide how you talk to yourself. You're feeding your mindset, your confidence, your ability to produce and take action. You're feeding that with a conversation that you're having in your head all day, okay? So give yourself permission to celebrate what you have accomplished, all right? Okay, the other thing is, as you go through this, set a timer. If there's some dreaded task, maybe it's cleaning your truck out, maybe it's cleaning the house, maybe it's filing all those papers that are sitting on your office desk, whatever it may be, set a timer and just be like, you know what, this is on my list. It's a priority. I've made it a priority, because if it's in your environment and it's causing you anxiety by looking at it, then you're wasting energy on that anxiety. It's negative energy about what you've got going on in your environment, when that energy, if that were taken care of, could be poured into and focused on something that's productive for you, okay? So set a timer. Set 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever time you have. it psychologically gives yourself permission to be done. It's not now this monumental task that you don't want to take on. You're like, okay, I'm going to give that 10 minutes. When the timer is up, I'm moving on. And this is how you can fill your space, fill your gap within your schedule as well, which increases productivity. If a meeting gets over 25 minutes early, you have this idea, you've got this list of things that you can go to where you can give just 10 minutes. And on that note of your list, you can't even segregate out. This is something that can, if I've got extra 10 minutes, make a category for that, where these are things that can be done in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. I can take a chunk out of that if I've got a spare 10 minutes. Does that make sense? Where you've got this separate list of, oh, I've got a spare 10 minutes, and I have a go-to list of things you can tackle, all right? But when you set a timer, it gives you permission and it's not so burdensome, all right? Okay, number 3 is focus on what you can control, not on what you can't. If you've gone through a divorce, you've gone through a major life change, you're dealing with a nasty boss, if there's things that you can't change, stop focusing on it. Again, you're giving your energy to something that you can't change, all right? You want to focus on something you can change. How can you respond differently? How can you shift gears to get into a positive mind space? How can you choose to be productive today? Okay, so you focus on what you can control, not on what you can't control. And here's a little secret that we all think we know, but we don't really let it resonate with us. You cannot control anyone else but you. This is a time for you to focus on you and you alone. You cannot control anyone else on the planet. Your kids, your ex, your boss, your employees, anyone. You can entice, you can motivate, you can encourage, but you can't control them at the end of the day. They're autonomous. They're going to do what they want to do. In some circumstances, the driver who cuts you off on your way home from work, you can't control them. Okay, so as soon as you accept that and just back off and relax and let go of that holding on of controlling everything and everyone in your surrounding, then you can relax and you can start focusing on you, pouring that energy in. And that in and of itself gives you more productivity, just releasing that energy and letting go of that stronghold that has on you, thinking you can control everyone else, all right? Okay, number 4 would be to focus on your strengths and your weaknesses. Oftentimes people are so afraid to tap into their weaknesses. They're like, oh, I don't want to face that. That's ugly. And oh, I don't want to confess that I've got issues. The reality is every single human on the planet has strengths and weaknesses. It's like, in the Bible, they say that there's not more than one part of a body, right? For a reason. Everybody makes up the parts of the entirety of the body. It's the same thing with you. When you can get objective, remove your emotional ego from this exercise, sit down and make a list of your strengths and weaknesses. Ask people around you. Be so brave as to pop onto Facebook, social media, whatever platform you're on, and ask people, say, hey, what are my top 3 strengths? What are my top 3 weaknesses? And I know it can be extremely vulnerable and it makes you feel like, oh my God, I'm exposing myself and they're going to say to the world what my weaknesses are. The quicker you can embrace that, the quicker you know what they are, the sooner you can be more productive in mitigating damage by continuing to do things that you're not good at. It's okay that you're not good at certain things. I'm a visionary. I am not an implementer, right? And so I need people in my life who are going to do the task. I've got all these ideas. I've got all this groundwork. And then I'm like, okay, cool. You go take care of it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go off and think about other cool things to do. And I'm going to get creative and I'm going to think of all these other fun things, but I'm not going to be the one to do that. Once I finally learned that and accepted that, my life radically changed. So your productivity goes up when you're in your wheelhouse, but you can't know what your wheelhouse is unless you identify it. So sit down, identify it, be okay with yourself, get your ego out of the way, and accept the weaknesses that you have. Then you want to hire and strategically place people around you that can take care of those for you and who love to do that, who accelerate at it, who are great at it, like accounting. You can't pay me to do accounting. It's just not going to happen. They are worth their weight in gold by the amount of money I spend to my accountants and bookkeepers and all that kind of crap, right? They can do it. I don't want to do it, all right? And then that frees me up to do what I am good at and gives me more productivity in that space instead of draining my energy in areas that I don't accelerate at. All right. So once you've identified what your weaknesses are, here's the beauty of this. You get to go hire people. And that's point number 6. Go get help. Ask people to help you who can fill the gap on your weaknesses. This frees you up so that you can operate in your wheelhouse, and you're going to be much more productive when you're operating in a space that you love, that you're good at, that you're gifted at, and you know how to do. When you're trying to do these other things that you're not good at, that you disdain, that it just drag you down, you're pulling down your energy, you're wasting energy on negative things in your mind. They're negative to you because you don't like them, and you're not operating at your peak potential, okay? So go get help. Find people who can do that. Go to, if you're a new business just starting out, go to universities, get interns, find whoever, start asking around, network with people, get resourceful, and find people who can help you do these things that you may not necessarily be great at. And it's okay. Like I said, accepting the fact that these are your weaknesses is the first step toward releasing them and releasing that negative energy on it and increasing your productivity so your profitability can maintain itself as you go through this divorce and you don't drop down and become a statistic by losing 50% of your productivity through your divorce. All right. So if you want to hear more, or, oftentimes people, this is what my clients hire me for. I'm the guardrails in their life that help them see these things that they sometimes can't see. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to click on the website, book a call, and we'll get on the phone and see if it's a good fit to work together. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, like the video below, and click on the bell so you get notified every time we pop in new videos for you.